What's up everybody, we're back. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Neural Amp Modeler and the different plugins where you can load NAM profiles and the differences between some. I've had a lot of comments in my videos asking me which one is better or which one is the best, and that all really just depends on you. There's no real wrong answer. Some might be better for your situation, some might be worse for your situation. So I'm going to talk about 4 plugins. I know there are more out there that use NAM, but I'm going to focus on these 4. 3 of the plugins I'm going to show you are completely free, and then there's one that incorporates NAM for $5. Now I'm not going to talk about Genome today because I haven't used it, and I think that one's like $80 or something like that. People seem to love it though, so definitely go check that out if you're interested. We're just going to talk about the original Neural Amp Modeler. We're going to talk about NAM Universal, Tonocracy, and then Amp Blocker. I'm going to show you the basic differences between those plugins, so hopefully this gives you a little bit better idea of what will work best for you. Again, there are no wrong options, just do what you want. We're going to start here with the original Neural Amp Modeler. And when this thing came out, it slowly blew everyone away. It's an awesome tool. It's open source. It has thousands of users now. It's awesome. This is the one that started it all. This is going to be the most basic option you have. It's no frills. It's very straightforward. You have input, you have a noise gate, 3-band EQ, and an output. Load one profile, load one IR, and that's what you got. But I think what sets the original apart from the other option is going to be your CPU usage. I'm not going to show you any meters here because that really depends on your own computer. I've had no problems running all of these plugins, and my computer's a basic HP laptop with 16 gig RAM, so nothing crazy, but I have seen a lot of comments that the other plugins use a lot of CPU. I've seen comments that say NAM uses a lot of CPU as well, but this one is definitely going to use the least amount of CPU. So if that's an issue for you, I would just stick with the OG Neural Amp Modeler, low CPU, compared to the others anyway. Beyond this, there's no effects, there's no flexibility, there's no added stuff to it. This is just what it is. There's no profiles that come with it either, so you're going to have to download all your own profiles. But if you find the right profiles, it's still going to sound great. One step up from the Neural Amp Modeler, I think, is going to be NAM Universal by Wavemind. You can think of this as 2 Neural Amp Modelers stacked upon each other with a couple of other bonus features. And there are a bunch of profiles already included when you download this, so you don't need to go look through Tone Hunt if you don't want to. It has a curated list of profiles and IRs, so you can just download this and start playing right away. So with the original Neural Amp Modeler, you'd have to download that and then go to Tone Hunt and get profiles and then load them up. This one has it all included. So that's one benefit of the NAM Universal if you're just starting out. If you already have a collection of profiles, it's not that big a deal. NAM Universal also has true stereo in and out. The original NAM is just mono. NAM Universal also includes a tuner. This first piece of rack gear is the pedal profiler, basically just one instance of knob meant to load a profile of a pedal. So if you like running a boost pedal in front of your amp, this is where you would load that profile. Power it on here, hit load, and it comes with a whole bunch. And the signal chain goes from the top down, so you go from the pedal profile into the instigator. I don't remember what that does exactly, I'm sorry, but it's an option that the original NAM doesn't have. Then we go into the main instance of NAM, the amp profiler. This is just like the Neural Amp Modeler. You have your input, bass, middle, treble, output. You just hit load, go to whatever profile you want and load that. A lot of them are already here. And the signal goes to the aggravator, which I don't remember what that does either, I'm sorry. But that's another option that the Neural Amp Modeler doesn't have. And then you have a dual IR loader down here. So the original NAM has 1. This one has 2, so you can load 2 IRs and then blend them together. You can do stereo, whatever you want. So you have more options there than you do in the original. What I have loaded up is the Orange Dual Terror by Arlington Audio, just some random IR. All your tones are going to be dependent on your profiles, so your tone experience is pretty much going to be the same because you're loading the same profiles throughout all the plugins. It's just kind of how you use them that makes them different. So NAM Universal adds some features. You're going to use a little bit more CPU in order to run this, and there are no effects in here yet. If you use other plugins for effects, I think this is a good way to go if you want a step up from the original Neural Amp Modeler. This one gives you a couple more features, and it looks cool if that matters to you. And if you don't want to go digging for profiles, this has a bunch loaded. So if you're just starting out, I think this is a good option for you. Moving on to Tonocracy. I think this one is the most flexible of all the options. So with NAM Universal, you just go top down, load what you want, play what you want. You can't move anything around in the signal chain, and there are no effects. With Tonocracy, you can do all that. When we first open Tonocracy, we have a blank signal chain. One really cool thing about Tonocracy is they have a bunch of amp sims already built in, so if you don't even want to get NAM profiles, there's already a bunch here. So I'm just going to open the amps folder, I'm just going to drag one over. And an amp on its own is not going to sound good, so I'm going to grab a cab, just a random one. And of course you can load your own IRs. This is what we're working with. What did I pick? I don't even remember. 65 lux. And that's not a knob profile, so you have some knobs you can mess with. Let's get something else. Let's get a diesel in here. Just drag it on. So there's plenty of options even if you don't want to download any NAM profiles. That's not what we're here for today. I'm going to get rid of that. I have my NAM profiles here. You can drag them anywhere. I'm going to open the 67 Plexi folder. I'm just going to drag one in. So you basically have the same options here that you have in the Neuro Amp Modeler, a couple of extra things. Nothing crazy, it's your typical Neuro Amp Modeler experience here. Let's talk about some other things Tonocracy has. They have a tuner, just like NAMM Universal, always a plus. The biggest thing that sets this apart from the other ones is going to be your effects. Here are all your effects: drive, reverb, delay, modulation, dynamics, EQ, and pitch. So you have all the good things about the Neuro Amp Modeler, and then you have effects. It will use more CPU though, so if your computer can't handle it, then this might not be a good option for you. But if it can, this has all the good things about NAMM, plus some more. Let's just grab a delay, mod delay. I'm gonna stick it in between. Try another one real quick. Get rid of that. Do a tremolo. I like tremolo. We'll put it in front. Again, your tone experience depends on what profiles you use, so your tone's going to be radically different than my tone. This is just the place to use it. There's a bunch of other effects in here. Definitely the most flexible option out of these four, I think. And this may be the most important thing, is you can load multiple NAMM profiles. And one reason you might want to do that is because of speaker profiles. So I'm going to get rid of my cab IR. So I just made this new folder. It's called speaker profiles. I'll have to clean this up later. These are going to be NAMM files. These are all made by Neutron Studio. This is their quantum speaker package. I'll make sure to do a video on that soon. You can think of these as high quality IRs. Based on their null testing, they are 99.6 accurate to the original source. If you've ever mic'd up guitar cabs before, you'll understand that when you drag these on. So instead of an IR, I'm just gonna grab just a random one, throw it there. So now I have two instances of NAMM. One is gonna be my Marshall profile, the other is going to be the quantum speaker. So this is a profile of a ribbon mic on the edge of a speaker. I'm gonna turn the tremolo off. So I have two NAMM profiles. I have the amp profile and then the speaker profile back to back. So instead of having NAMM and then an IR, I have two NAMMs. And Tonocracy just offers that flexibility right away. So if you want all the features in the Neuro Amp Modeler and then all these extra features, I would definitely check out Tonocracy. Now, if your computer can't handle something like this, I understand. Just go back to NAMM. And honestly, Tonocracy is worth it just for the amp sims that are built in. Who am I kidding? It's free. It's worth it for everything. Worth it for the tuner. Tonocracy is great. Definitely go check it out. So the last one we're going to look at is Amp Blocker. This one's by Audio Assault. Amp Blocker is great. There's already a ton of good features on there. This Prestige is one of the free amp sims you get here. Let me turn it on. Get a bunch of pedals for free too. Anything highlighted is free because I have not bought anything here. You could load 4 pedals. They have a 3D IR section, which I think is really cool. Tons of different cab options for free. You can move the mic around. You can change the mics. You can have stereo cabs. I think this is the main benefit of Amp Blocker. Now, if you want to use the Neuro Amp Modeler, you have to load up the NAMM player. And the NAMM player to run outside of demo mode costs $5. It's not that much. It's not a big deal. I haven't done it. Unless you're new to this channel, you know I am an extreme cheapskate when it comes to everything. $5 is basically nothing. It's very reasonable. I personally use other stuff at the moment, but if I wanted to go to Amp Blocker, $5 isn't too much to ask. So you have a noise gate, you have a tuner, stereo in, stereo out. You could also get a bunch of other amp sims they have here. They also have an effects section that's after the whole signal chain. So you have a bunch of rack gear you can throw in here. All your pedals you can throw in here too, but I'm not gonna throw a screamer at the end of the chain. I really like the pedals here. So here's just a delay pedal. Again, if you're using NAMM profiles, your tone experience is going to be very similar. Amp Blocker has some pedals and some rack gear that you're not going to get in the other ones. They have the 3D IR section, which is really cool, but you have to pay $5 to get the NAMM player. And this one's going to use up more CPU too, just because it's a bigger plugin. So if your computer can't handle this, then stick with NAMM. But if you want all these extra features, then definitely check it out. It's really cool. So those are 4 really good options. The original Neuro Amp Modeler, NAMM Universal, Tonocracy, and Amp Blocker. There's no wrong plugin. Your sounds are pretty much going to be the same whichever one you use, because it's mostly dependent on the profile you pick. NAMM is your most basic and will use the least amount of CPU. NAMM Universal is a step up from that. And then Tonocracy and Amp Blocker offer a whole bunch more features and are going to use more CPU. So it all really depends on what you want to do and what your computer can handle. But there are no wrong options, so just do what you want. I hope that clarifies some things. I hope I pointed out the difference as well. Let me know in the comments what you think, and definitely if I missed something important, let me know in the comments. And I think that's all I got for you for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.